Alright guys, this is Dave, Live Car Build. We're going to put a upper intake on a 2003 Buick Lesabre 3.8 liter. So you're going to see it as I do it. We're not going to make this video real clean. If I run into troubles, you're going to see the troubles. So first thing we want to do is just get what we can out of the way. Then we're going to take a lot of pictures for people that don't know exactly how to do this. And I haven't practiced this, so you're going to see me work my way through it. So you want to take a lot of pictures of all the plug-ins, the hoses, so you know what's going on. You have a reference. So what you're going to see me doing is just clearing a few things out of the way. We're going to start with this, which is easy. We're going to get the air box out of the way. Then we're going to start removing some wiring and stuff and get the throttle body out of the way, and we'll go from there. Okay, so this part, if you turn the cap loose and just keep turning, the whole thing will turn and it'll come up out of there. You can get this thing up out of the way. I would suggest putting this back. So again, you just turn the cap loose and just keep on turning, and then the whole tube will turn. So we'll get that out of the way. So now we're just going to go after the air box and a few things and get it out of the way. So we'll go from there. Plus the pictures. See, if you're unsure, this is what you want to do. You get in close. You take pictures of the wiring and the color of the wires, the position of the wires, everything. All kinds of pictures. Alright, don't forget everybody, your safety is your responsibility. So anything you do, watch your fingers, all of it. Just be safe. Okay, now we're going to go after the air box. Yeah, most of this wiring will only go back in one place, so there's not a whole lot to worry about with that. Now we're just going to start going after getting things loose and out of the way. If you don't have to take these loose or take them off, don't. If you're worried about it, mark them. Take a piece of tape, wrap them around there, 1 through 6. Anything that might be hooked up, take it off. And you'll find things as you're taking it apart too that need to come loose. You just take them loose at that time, no big deal. Take all these wirings off for the throttle body, all the sensors. Okay. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get the throttle body itself out of the way. So there's 3 nuts for that. 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom. Be careful not to drop these. hard to find. Magnets help, but alright, this last one, there's a bracket here, goes from the engine to there. We're just going to take it loose, and we're probably going to just push it out of the way. Little bolt on the side here. See, it moves pretty easy. It's just bolted to the side of the engine also. So if you just push it back out of the way a little bit, then you can get at that back bolt, the last one. Little things you can do to help yourself is to, like, these bolts came out of here, so I'm going to put those here. I mean, it's just a helping hand. I mean, these are here, and if there were some here, they would be here, you know. Little things to help yourself. We're going to go ahead and take the injectors loose right now. On this model, it's pretty easy. There's just a clip on the side. You got to lift up on this blue thing and then push on this tab in the middle. When you put it back on, it'll click. You push that back down and it locks it so that that tab won't push again and come off. So you pull up on it, push the tab. Okay, also, just so you know, I sprayed these injectors where they go into the intake with WD-40. I did do that to prepare for this video, so you might want to do that. Let them set for a little while at this point. So spray them first, then you can start taking your bolts loose to take the fuel rail up and off. And you're going to take the injectors with it. That's why I'm saying that. So let those soak in the oil. You can take these bolts out, and after that just give them a few minutes to soak and go ahead and lift it up out. Okay, so right now we want to just pry the fuel rail up, try to get the injectors to go with it. Okay. There's that side loosen out. That wasn't so bad. Now, we're just gonna, we don't want to kink these or break those lines. If they can flex a little bit, we're just going to get them out of the way. Now, if you have the tool, which actually I do, actually this one might not even need a tool, but some of these are tools, so they take a special tool to get them loose. Well, in this case they don't, so if you really wanted to, you could take them loose, but this is pressurized even when it's in the off position. So you want to watch it, it will spray. Always wear safety glasses, but right now I'm going to leave it out of the way, and unless it gets in my way, then I'll take the fuel lines loose and remove it. Okay, believe it or not, we're already ready to start taking the intake bolts loose. Left to right, front to back, left to right, and the back as well. And we're going to lay them out. Okay, so you don't get lost, because there could be different bolts in there for different places. See, look at that. See the difference? Stud, bolt, 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 long bolt. So that's why we're doing that. Pretty sure it hit the ground. That's a good thing. Alright, I paused the camera. I took a little break. I went in to get a magnet. And what I did was, the first one that I took loose to get this bracket loose up here, the nut fell down there. I thought it hit the ground, but it didn't. I found that one. Trusty magnet on a wire. Good strong neodymium with a hole in the middle. You just wrap it through. Or they make magnets for this, mechanic magnets. And then this one back here that holds the second one for the bracket just kind of fell loose and landed on the intake. So I fished that one out. So that's where we stand. So now I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit. Doesn't have to go real far. I just need to be able to get at this last bolt that's holding the intake on. See, this one's a stud, so the stud was holding the intake on, then that bracket was down over the top of the stud, then there was a nut, and this is the nut that I dropped and I couldn't find. So I had to get that bracket off to be able to get at the bolt. Okay, so those are in order. These two are for the bracket. So those are last. That's the intake, left to right, left to right. Well, Pcv valve, let's see here. Okay, for this, you got to squeeze these two little tabs in and it will release and come loose off of the intake. Just kind of set it back out of the way. We should be ready to start taking it off. If something's holding it, then we'll deal with it accordingly. Okay, there we go. But like I said, there was a lot of water going through this engine. It didn't show any leak for the longest time. So it's got to be going through this intake. This was a problem for this car. And we're going to talk about this little tube here too a little bit while we're going back together, or we can do it now. This little tube on the new one, I didn't even really understand what it was for because it was just kind of laying down in there in the box. So I noticed these clips on the gasket here that's holding this pipe. So I kind of put two and two together and found its position. So I don't know exactly how they want it, but I see no purpose of it to be there unless it's actually pushed down in that hole. So I made sure that the new one was pushed down in tight and then in place on there. We'll talk about this later after we're done. We'll take a look at it because I'm curious myself. I want to know where the water was getting in so bad. This plastic's got to be bad somewhere. So now we're just going to clean up. So what you want to do is clean this surface up really, really well. You can use mineral spirits, brake cleaner, carburetor cleaner. Wear safety glasses for the chemicals, guys. Even gloves if you feel the need. Just be really careful. Remember, your safety is pretty important. So. Alright, so, and also this piece here, it stays. Make sure that it stays and make sure it's down in there good. You can take a piece of 2x4 or something and lay it on top and just tap it with a hammer. Don't hit it hard. Just tap it with a hammer. Make sure it's down in there and it's not wiggled its way out. That stays there, or you'll melt that plastic intake just real fast. It won't last very long at all. So I'm going to clean this up, and then when I'm done, I'll bring the new intake out and we'll go through it and put it back together. Okay, so I got this intake cleaned up, but I'd like to show you guys what I did. So I'm going to move the camera off the tripod, so bear with me. Okay, I hit the intake with a straight razor, just a regular flat razor, scraping razor. I didn't get carried away. I didn't want to scratch the intake. There was still some pretty good stains on there, and I wasn't worried about those stains with the razor blade. You don't want to get carried away. And then I took a towel, sprayed some brake clean on it, and just cleaned it up. And what little bit of stains is left on it is no big deal. You don't want to worry about those. The razor blade made sure there was no debris stuck to the surface. It's clean, flat. The stains are nothing. Quite a bit came off with the brake cleaner though. I mean, those stains are very light compared to what they were right after the razor blading. Now the intake part, we got the new one and the old one. This system would still be on the old one. So you want to take this sensor off by spreading those two legs out and pulling straight up, but don't break it off. It won't come out very easy, so be careful. And then this part turns and comes up. There's a spring on the bottom that we need to replace into the new one. In that Pcv valve, you can replace it or you can just transfer it over. It's up to you. So we're going to transfer this over. Now we're ready to put the gasket back on. And get ready to put this back on the car. Alright, myself, I don't like the way this tube fits in there. It pushes up on the gasket to get that in, and I have that pushed down in there. I think it's too long on this end and sticking up too high, and it's got this pushed down. because it's hitting here first. So I'm going to shorten that, and I'll be back with you. Okay. We're going to go back on. It's going to be fun. Almost need another person for this part, but alright, we're going to go ahead and start going back together. So it's going to be put the bolts back in, get the bracket back on, and it's going to be just like it came apart. Left to right, front and back. Okay, so we're just going to snug this down, just going to seat these bolts. We don't want to get carried away tightening them because these only take like 8 foot-pounds. That's not very much at all. And actually there is a sequence, I'll show you. Can you see that? So you're going to want to go the back one in the middle, left middle, because there's 2 of them right there in the back, right there. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you want to do that in 3 steps. Same sequence. You go to just a couple of inch-pounds. Or a couple of foot-pounds anyway. And then you go back to number 1 and you go to the first pass is 22 inch-pounds, the second pass is 44 inch-pounds, the third pass is 89 inch-pounds. And that's inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. So you do those 3 sequences and go from there. Okay, we're going to put the fuel rail back on now, so again, just be careful not to kink those lines. Matter of fact, I want to clean these up a little bit, so I'll be right back with you. Okay, you want to get these lined up kind of slowly. Make sure all 6 of them are in place before you start pushing down. And conveniently, my fuel rail nuts are right there. Okay, we're going to snug these down. Again, just make sure they're all in place. ahead and put this bracket back and be done with that. Get it back where it belongs. Alright, so if you don't have one of these torque wrenches, you need to go find one. It's pretty important. These things like to crack if they don't get torqued down properly. That's the whole point of doing it in 3 steps. So at this point, what you're going to see is just me bouncing around and plugging stuff back in and putting things back on. But first I want to do this throttle body and get that back on. But I want you to see that you need to clean this. I cleaned it just like I did the intake. A little bit of a flat razor. I didn't get carried away, and I cleaned it with an O2 sensor safe cleaner. But I wanted you to see that I also cleaned the bottom side of the butterfly and also the throttle body itself where the butterfly touches. It helps with good cold start, better idle, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting things back together, and we'll see what we can do about getting this thing going today. And then we got coolant tubes. A whole different video. As soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to put this back together. I won't be putting the coolant back in it. We'll talk about it, but I won't be doing that because I'll be going straight after another project, another video. So we'll go from there. I'll get you through this. We'll talk about getting the antifreeze back in it, buttoning up the process. So right now, let's get this back on. I've already cleaned it. There's no reason to get crazy tightening this either. Right now I'm just going to seat it, get it to lay down. And notice I'm not turning real hard. I'm seating it down good, but I'm not getting crazy. Okay, I'm going to start plugging in some wiring. Probably go ahead and do these wires first, then we'll do the injectors. Anything else we can get back in and in place, and I'm going to go as far as I can up until the point to where I need to leave this job so I can finish the other job. Now these things usually only go back in one place, so it's usually pretty obvious. Yep, that's right. So I need to redo those. See, that's why we take pictures. I wasn't comfortable with the way it was laying, so now I can fix it. Okay, that puts that little bracket back on. Now we're going to do the injectors. Again with these, I'm going to push it on. And then the blue tab gets, or the blue lock gets pushed down. Okay, I actually have to replace this sensor that I showed you earlier, the Pcv valve sensor. I actually broke it, that's why I was fumbling with it. I just wanted to show you the procedure a little bit, but I have to go get one of these and put it on. Okay, I'm going to finish that. Come on, buddy. You need to go inside. Come on. Good boy. That's a good boy. Good boy. So remember, I took this off so I wouldn't break it. There we go. Now we'll plug this in. Get these back in place. Alright, that pretty much buttons this one up. What needs to happen still is you need to put the air cleaner and stuff back on, check for anything else that you've forgotten, any loose ends that you didn't get. You want to top off the radiator with fresh antifreeze if you need to, and you want to test it properly because, well, at this time it's going to be winter soon, and you might want to, if you're in doubt, don't question it, change the oil filter, and you should be good to go. When you're doing the antifreeze, this is a bleed valve. In case it gets airlocked, you can loosen that up and it'll let the air out and let more antifreeze in, get rid of the airlock. If you have any questions, ask. I'll do the best I can to answer them all. Good luck, guys.